Figured you guys waited long enough out in this heat, huh? How's everybody doing? How you boys and girls doing? You guys having fun at the festival? You riding all the rides? You spending all your mom and dad's money? Way to go, kids. Hey folks, we'd like to welcome everybody out here today to the first annual Louisiana Crawfish and Alligator Festival. My name is Gil. Standing beside me right here is Bert, better known as Kachunga. And between the two of us, we're going to try to show you a little bit about some alligators that we brought out. So on behalf of the festival, Wildlife Entertainment and Education, we'd like to welcome each of you here. We hope you're having a good time. Now folks, the show you're going to see today gets hyped an awful lot everywhere that we go as alligator wrestling. But in reality, alligators don't know a lot about wrestling. And in fact, if we give the alligator the chance, he usually turns around and he runs off in the other direction. This holds true with most alligators, whether they're born in the wild or whether they're raised in captivity. Now our show began over 30 years ago as a simple public awareness program. We would take the alligators and other types of animals to schools in Florida, where we live, to try to help educate school kids about their environment. So it's grown into a little show. We hope you enjoy it. If you're an animal lover, like we are, you'll be happy to know that no harm comes to the alligators throughout the course of our shows. Now, Bert and I get a chance, Bert and I get a chance to do a lot of travel. As you can imagine, we get asked a bunch of questions about alligators. But it seems that the biggest concern everybody has, especially for those of us who live down here in the South where we got alligators running around everywhere, is why do they attack us? What makes an alligator attack somebody? I don't know what the stats are in Louisiana, but last year in Florida, we had about 20 alligator attacks. Unfortunately, 3 of those attacks were fatal. There's usually one of 3 reasons that'll cause an alligator to attack somebody. I'm going to briefly explain them to you, and then Bert's getting in the water. The first reason is when we have a female gator that has a nest of eggs or babies, she's very protective as a parent. She's going to guard her family with her life and aggressively attack anything or anybody that gets close to her nest or her little baby alligators. The second reason is the male of the species, just like this one. When they reach about 8 foot or larger, they tend to become very territorial. We call these gators territorial bull alligators. What this means is pretty simple. The alligator claims a little body of water as his territory. He's going to defend that territory against all the other alligators. Or for that matter, anything else that's stupid enough to get in there with him. The third reason is the most dangerous.
He might die.
Here in Louisiana and in Florida, we've got alligators all over the place. And last count, I don't know what the stats are here, about 1 million of them, I believe, but we had about 1.5 million in Florida. They occupy all of our lakes and bayous. In fact, if you live around here on a lake or a bayou, it's very common that you wake up in the morning, you open the back door to your house, you walk outside, and in your backyard, you might see a big 9-foot alligator laying there on the bank, right? Well, this happens all the time. But the danger lies not in the fact that we have so many. People will often try to feed those alligators. Anytime that we feed a wild alligator, we teach that particular animal not to be afraid of us. In essence, by feeding them, we create a more dangerous animal. That's why it's illegal to feed them. If you get caught doing so, you could be placed in jail or at least heavily fined. And of course, that's for our protection, as well as the protection of our alligators. Well, that's it, folks. Those are your 3 basic reasons as to why they attack us. Other than that, believe it or not, alligators are usually real shy, and they usually leave people alone if we just choose to leave them alone. Well, now we come to my favorite part of the show. Get in there. That's where we get to send my little dummy into the water. My little buddy into the water. His job in just a few minutes, everybody, is going to be to catch that alligator and bring him up on this stage where you guys can see him real good. So if you don't mind, how about giving Bert a nice big round of applause for what he's going to try for you today? Man, Bert, we got a great crowd, huh? Great crowd. We'd like to get his applause up front in case he don't make it. Folks, the alligator we have with us today is not a real big alligator. You guys know that. He's about 7 feet long, probably weighs about 180 pounds. And I say he's not real big because they get a lot bigger. They get about 14 feet long. They can weigh up to 2,000 pounds. So they get real big. But for educational purposes, and I'm sure Bert's going to agree, this gator's going to work out just fine. Right, Bert? Also, Bert's carrying with him this little pole. Folks, the pole is never used to hurt the alligator. It's only used to help guide him and to test his reflexes, to see how fast he is. And that's because... That's because the alligators are reptiles. Now, you kids are going to have to stay back on the other side of the ropes. You parents, please watch the kids. You guys, get your little brother there and stick him back there. Thank you, guys. The pole is for testing the alligator. Alligators are reptiles. That makes them cold-blooded animals, which means that they can't regulate their body temperature like you and I can. When it gets cold outside, the alligator's metabolism drops down with that cooler temperature. When this happens, they get real sluggish and slow. They can't move around much. In fact, if you see a real cold alligator, it'll look like he's moving around in slow motion. Now, once the temperature changes and it starts to get hot again, then the opposite happens. He gets faster, he's more active, he's harder to work with. The pole basically tells Bert how fast he is throughout the course of our show. All right, Bert, go find out. Bring your little stick. He's going to get a little bit closer to him. You're going to notice a little bit of a personality change start to occur with our gator as he gets near him. You may hear the alligator start to hiss a little bit if you can. That hissing sound that he makes is air being pushed through his nose. One of the few sounds alligators create is that hissing sound. It's kind of a warning. He's telling Bert to stay back. Doesn't want to get too close to him. Incidentally, folks, if you live around here on a lake or a bayou and you happen to wake up one morning and you look outside and you got a big alligator in your backyard and you don't want him back there, here's what you do to get rid of him. Show him, Bert. Folks, no! No, man, you can't tell these people that. They're protected. You can't shoot them. You'll be in big trouble. Why do you tell these people that? Anyway, here's what you want to do. If you got that alligator in your backyard, you don't want him back there? You want to sneak up behind the alligator real quiet like.
No. We're not getting drinks.
And when you get close to him, quiet like, Bert.
Well, the line's way back there. Oh, well, we'll get
And when you get close to him, you're on the wrong side, man. You reach down and you grab the alligator by the tail, just like that. Once you got him by the tail, you drag that gator to your neighbor's house. You drop him off over there. Let them worry about it. I'm just joking. Alligators are real agile. If you grab him by the tail, he'll turn around. He can bite you in the hand or even as high up as your elbow. Very quick, very agile. The lateral or side-to-side motion that the gator makes is his fastest move. That's how he catches all of his food, everybody. He doesn't run after anything. They're real sneaky when they hunt. They sneak up to whatever it is they want to eat. And when they get close to it, then he strikes at it like that from the side. That side-to-side strike is normally fast enough that these alligators can even catch fish when they swim by. Real fast from the side. You never want to approach one from the side. It's a bad place to be. He's going to get him out of the center again. We've all been misled, though, as to how fast these alligators can run. They do not run as fast as you may have been told. There's a lot of wives' tales out there about how fast they are in short distances, like they can outrun a horse somehow in a short distance, or you got to run zigzag to get away from them. That's not true. They don't run that fast. In fact, folks, about 2 weeks ago, back at home, we took the opportunity, it was real hot outside, to clock our alligator. He was only running 13 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's pretty fast.
Then we clocked Bert. He was running 14 miles an hour. In the water, though, it's different. We can't outswim them. They can reach speeds in the water of about 25 miles an hour. They use that big, powerful tail, and that's what they use to push themselves through the water at that rate of speed. Speaking of speed, Bert's going to show you how the jaws work. And to do this, just go with me on this one. To do this, he's going to get real close to the alligator's mouth. Real close. When he does, the gator will automatically open his mouth up, self-defense. A little closer, Bert. He can take the pole that he's got. He can take that pole. He can pass it inside the alligator's mouth. And, yeah, nothing happens. Well, that's because the gator can't see the pole. Look where his eyes are. They're up on top of his head. He had no idea that that pole was in his mouth. He can't see in there. But if even a drop of water were to fall off that pole and touch the inside of the alligator's mouth, I promise you we'll get a different reaction. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, now watch closely. Because Bert is now going to stick his hand right inside that gator's mouth. Come on, man, we got a big crowd. Hey, how about it, everybody? You want to see Bert stick his hand in the alligator's mouth, huh? Man, me too. Go on, Bert, you can do it. Look at all them kids counting on you, man. What are you doing, man? Don't act like that. All right. Here's what's going on, everybody. Hang on, kids. Last week, Bert and I were up in New York, right? We were up there performing. We were inside. They had the building real hot. The alligator was moving around real fast. Bert went to stick his hand in the alligator's mouth. He almost got bit. And nobody clapped. Bert's feelings real bad. He said he wasn't going to do it no more. But I tell you what, Bert, we're not in New York no more, right? We're down here in Louisiana. And I bet you if you stick your hand in the alligator's mouth here for these folks, everybody will give you a nice big round of applause. Right, everybody? What do you say, Bert? What does that mean? Well, good. Everybody, you talked him into it. This is great. Not only is Bert going to stick his hand in the alligator's mouth, but in order to demonstrate how those jaws work, he's going to go one step further for you. He's going to reach his hand in there, and with his bare fingers, he's going to touch the inside of the alligator's mouth. That means one thing. He better get his hand out in a hurry. Now, please remain as quiet as possible. Obviously, the alligator has to hold real still. Boys and girls, stay off that front fence. The gator has to hold really still. This is extremely, extremely dangerous. Bert, take your time. No. You're zipping everybody, man. They weren't supposed to applaud for that. They're going to applaud once you touch the inside of that alligator's mouth. That's what they signed up for. Right, kids? One more time. They paid good money to see this show. Bert says, I didn't get any of it. All right. Please remain as quiet as possible. How about it, folks? He did it for you. There you go. That's fast. Well, that proves two things. Number one, obviously the alligator can't see inside of his own mouth. Number two, Bert ain't too bright. From here, Bert's going to try to catch the gator for you. Now, he's got a couple of ways. He can go about doing this. One way is he can go through the front of the alligator, try to grab a hold of him by his mouth, try to hang on to the jaws of the alligator while he thrashes around, or he rolls over and he tries to bite him. Another way would be to sneak up behind him, hop on his back, and grab him around the neck. Either way, and there's the back technique. And hey, how about it, folks? Give him a nice big round of applause. Oh, that's the easy part. 8 foot, 180 pounds alligator. Give him some encouragement, everybody. Let him hear it. Get his mouth. And get his jaws in. How about it, folks? Give him a nice big round of applause. That's how you're doing. And the next time you guys see an alligator crossing the road, now you know how to do it too. Hey, let's give Bert another nice hand, huh? Let him catch his breath. Good job, buddy. All right. From here, Bert's going to show you a little bit more about the alligator. If you can see this well, he's going to point out some features for you, help you understand a little bit better how they work. Right in the very front of the alligator's snout is there two little openings up there. That's the alligator's nose. That's where he gets his air from. He's an air breather just like you and I, and that means that when he's underwater, just like you and I, he's holding his breath. The difference is he can stay underwater and he can hold his breath for several hours at a time. But sooner or later, he's got to come up for fresh air. The eyes of the alligator sit high on top of his head. This helps the animal sneak up to his prey while the rest of the body remains completely underwater unseen. So you hardly even see the alligator coming after you. All you see is little eyeballs sticking up out of the water. If in danger, though, watch this. The eyes will actually sink right down into the skull for their protection. Just like that. After the danger passes, they pop back up into place, and the gator will go about his business. Right behind the eyes is a very small brain. The alligator's got one just like it.
Or you can just push it down.
A hard blow in the head to kill that alligator. On the side of the brain is his ears. They're located underneath this little flap of skin. You can lift this skin up, look down inside of his ear. He's got excellent hearing. They use their hearing when they hunt. They cruise the rivers at night time and they listen for things that get close to the water, like raccoons or possums. In the daytime, we usually find the gators sunning themselves on the side of a river somewhere. If you see him eating in the day, you might find him eating water birds or maybe even turtles. Folks, with over 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch of clothes in his mouth, he's got no problem cracking turtle shells. And to give you an idea of what the jaws look like on the inside, Bert's going to get him to open his mouth up for you. Now, if he succeeds, you're going to get a rare look at the inside of an alligator's jaws. We'd like for you to look into the back of his throat. You're going to notice in the back, there's no throat opening. Instead, hold him, there's a small check valve all the way in the back of his mouth. Everybody see that? Point to it, Bert. That enables the gator to bite when he's underwater without drowning. You also see his teeth. He's got 80 of them. 40 on the top and 40 on the bottom. They're all sharp and pointed. They're not blunt. Blunt teeth are for chewing, and they don't chew their food. Everything he eats, he swallows whole. He gets something too big to swallow whole, he'll bite it and he'll start thrashing around, or he rolls over and over until he rips a piece off, small enough to swallow. How about a nice big hand for Bert? Huh? He's doing good, isn't he? Hey everybody, all kidding aside. Now you boys and girls out here today especially, kids, we come out and try to have a little bit of fun. At the same time, we want to educate you a little bit about alligators. If you ever get a chance to see one though and you get close to them, or you try to do